tremendous looking trophy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Australia's #1 PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. Fix that one, Ash. Think that one through. Think that one through. Think that through. Do you break down every word that I just said? Think that through. That's right. Australia's #1. Fuck you. Joining me this week, Ashley Hobley.
Hey, I'm back.
And
I really appreciate the script, Gillen.
And I fired Ciaran after listening to last week's episode.
Yeah. He's taking up improv classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was I came back off my holidays. He had to go. I'm sorry. Rip. You know, all those jokes about him killing me? I legit just killed Ciaran. What made it funny was I was legit in the car listening to it.
Yeah.
Shaking my head when you were joking that I would be doing such a thing. And that's exactly what I was doing.
Yeah.
Exactly what I was doing.
We know what happens.
Yep.
Soothsayers, fortune tellers, psychics.
Yeah. Is that what you like to refer to yourselves as?
No, we've done predictions, so we're not.
Yeah, we're not very good at the predictions. So I was thinking this before, right? So we'll talk about Detroit in a little bit. We'll get to it.
Yep.
But it was funny because I took 10 days off, right? I was away for 10 days.
Yep.
And then I was back at home for a couple of days and I hadn't played anything until I played Detroit today. So I went 12 to 13 days, I think 13 days without playing anything. So basically 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is a decent length of time.
That is a fair amount of time. Didn't take
especially-
your Switch or your Vita?
I did. I just never used it.
Yeah,
I
no?
brought my Switch.
So
brought my
preoccupied
Switch.
with holiday fun.
Yeah, I never actually used it, but I did bring it. But yeah, sorry, Vita, rip. That was before the fucking news story broke about them stop making game cards. I never even brought it on my thing. But
Yeah.
I decided the Vita was pretty much the back burner the moment. I think I went, it was either PAX last year or something like that when I was like packing and I'm like, I'm bringing the Switch, not the Vita. Like
Yeah.
that was the defining.
That was a moment.
That was pretty much the defining moment. But yeah, anyway, so I was thinking I hadn't played it for like 2 weeks, which I feel like is a decent length of time especially since I do a podcast all about playing
Yeah.
video games. You know? And I was starting to feel bad, especially as it was getting towards the middle of the day today. And I was like, fuck, I haven't started Detroit yet. It's sitting there staring at me. I should probably finish up what I'm doing and jump into Detroit because it'll probably help to have at least played
A little
X
bit,
amount of time
yeah.
for that before doing the fucking PlayStation podcast I host. And I started to feel a little bit bad. Then I remembered you host a movie podcast for us and you haven't watched half the fucking good movies in the world. So, you know, like whatever. It doesn't...
Yeah, but I'm constantly watching stuff. Just not good stuff.
Yeah, not the right things, I feel like. Yeah. Fucking show me trailers for arcs and axes and whatever weird
Explosion.
movies.
No, youtube.com/Explosion Network. Or twitch.tv/Explosion Network.
They're the ones.
They're the ones.
So what do you reckon the longest you've ever gone without playing video games has been? Adult life, not childhood, where your parents are involved.
I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was the cause?
I know once I went on like a cruise, so I couldn't play any video games on that.
Yeah.
Then sometimes you just don't feel like doing it.
Yeah.
But always yeah. I don't know. Do mobile games and that sort of thing count?
Yeah, I count it.
Yeah,
we're talking no interactivity with games.
Yeah,
at all.
then very rare.
That argument doesn't work because it's like you can't be like, oh, do mobile games count? But then be like, mobile games are real games. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
If you want to take mobile gaming seriously, then yes, mobile games count the same as any other video game. I know what you mean. Like, I think there's usually a point towards the end of the year and then like the start of it where, yeah, and then like maybe in the middle of the year as well, like a month or so after E3, where my brain's just kind of like, I don't really feel like playing much at the moment. Can I just die off?
Or like when you play something, like when I finished God of War, like I need a couple of days of not doing any, playing video games. Yeah,
I understand.
Yeah.
But I know people that just like don't stop. You know what I mean? Like it's just
that's their
just like,
one form of entertainment.
Yeah, I suppose that's the difference though.
Yeah.
But I've said before, like if I had to pick between like games and movies and shit, I would pick movies over games, even though that's blasphemy.
It is on this podcast.
It is on this podcast. I mean, it's not a scenario that's actually going to happen in the real world.
It's not a realistic.
So it's fine to say.
Yeah.
You'd pick movies too, wouldn't you? Yeah, you would.
Or TV. Yeah.
Yeah.
Movie TV.
Yeah. It's just storytelling in games doesn't.
Yeah.
It isn't quite.
You can't suck at watching TV.
Yeah, all that exactly. All right, let's jump into the first hot news story. Wolf Among Us 2 was delayed until 2019 because of fundamental changes, and I'm doing quotation marks in the air that you can't see because it's an audio podcast, and that's why I'm filling you in, telling you. But now it's taking way longer than it does when you're in a visual medium and you just do the air quotes because you don't want to bring attention to it, and you do it so it's a visual cue. But now I've told you the whole thing, so now it's a thing. So it makes you wonder what the changes could be. Automatic assumption, Ash, is that they said fundamental changes. We all get our hopes up. Telltale do an engine change. That's what you want to jump to.
Yeah.
But I propose to you this, because that's what I see everyone on the internet jumping to. You're like, oh, it must be because of the engine change.
Yeah.
I don't think, and obviously we're not tech people. Like we don't make games.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're aware that we don't actually make games.
Shocker.
It's shock. And I don't know if you're also aware, but we're not actually like, we're pretty amateur. We're not super journalistic people.
We don't have a background in coding or design
or anything. But
pundits.
Pundits. My theory is, I don't understand how it's possible. Like, from what I know, they can't make a new engine and take a game that they've been working on in another engine, like just copy paste it into a new one. You know what I mean?
No, you'd have to start from pretty much scratch, is my understanding. Because that's what happened with The Last Guardian like 2 or 3 times, right?
Yes.
That's why it took forever.
Yeah. Yeah. So all these people online are like, oh, it must be because Telltale's finally doing a new engine and they're just going to finish that up before they go back to working on it. But if that is the thing, that means they're basically scrapping Wolf Among Us, what they've got working on, make the new engine, and then start from scratch on Wolf Among Us again.
Well, I mean, they'd have the building blocks there, the story and everything. It's just reanimating everything and in theory. If that was what it was.
If that's what it is, and that's what you'd want it to be, I guess. Or else it's like fundamental changes to... Like, fundamental changes to what? The Telltale formula is pretty...
Unless they're completely rewriting the story. They got like halfway and they're like, this is rubbish. We need to start again.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't like the sound of that at all. They've never delayed something like this from, like... Because this probably
they should have, but they haven't.
Like what? Game of Thrones?
Guardians.
Oh, yeah, Guardians. Yeah, well, that's a good point. Guardians is fucking shit, hey. This is one of those stories I remember reading when it dropped last week, going, oh, that's disappointing. I was really looking forward to Wolf Among Us Season 2. You haven't played the first season, have you?
Now I've got another year to catch up.
You do have another year to catch up. It's one of Telltale's best series, so I was super excited for Season 2. But now, just get happier and have high hopes that they're actually working on the game engine. But I just find it odd for them to delay something like this, because they don't delay the start of something. They would usually just finish the first episode and then spend 3 to 4 months before putting out the second episode.
Yeah.
You know? Like...
Maybe that's the fundamental change.
The fundamental change is they want to make sure they've got more finished before they actually start the season. That would be nice.
Yeah.
Like some sort of structured fucking release schedule.
Here's the first 3 episodes. What? Here's this release dates. Yeah.
Yeah. Just really, I imagine a world one day where Telltale, you look on their social medias and they've just got like a nice graphic. Episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here are the dates for the releases.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine that.
Would have made Batman so much easier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it would make you want to play it more, because half the time it's like when Batman drops, you're like, well, if I play it now, I've probably got 2 fucking months until the next episode drops.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make you want to rush through it, or... Yeah. That'd be nice. I'd like that to be a thing. talking about things getting kind of delayed, / delayed indefinitely, Australia banned a game this week, which hasn't happened for a little while.
Did it have people killing hookers?
Nope.
People having sex?
Nope.
Incredible violence?
Nope.
Children getting murdered?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, well, I don't know what the problem could be.
The game was We Happy Few, which was refused classification due to drug use. Which is apparently the number one thing the Australian government has. It's like not violence, it's
drug use.
Drug use. Because that even goes back to the Fallout 3 days.
Yeah.
Like all the drug names in that have changed because they're like called speed and whatever else in the American version. And here they're called like Chem
packs or stim packs or whatever.
Yeah, all that sort of shit, yeah. I think they detailed it fully online. It was like a scene where a character's basically getting forced to take this drug in the game, and then there's like reward factors to it though. Like you can take the drug to like get health back, and like that's what their
problem is. They don't like you getting rewarded for taking drugs.
Drugs, yes. But from what I could tell, because I don't actually know all that much about We Happy Few. I know like the game's artwork. I remember seeing the initial trailer at E3 like 8 years ago.
It was an Xbox exclusive, wasn't it?
Yeah, or it was shown at Xbox at least. Like that's where the trailer dropped. Like
it was part of their beta program or whatever.
Yeah, that thing. Yeah, and it's been in that for ages or whatever. Yeah. It's like officially releasing this year. But as far as I can tell, the drug taking is part of the main. Like it's actually integral to the
story,
the story and the gameplay. Yeah. So it's not like one of those things that you can fix. I can't remember the last game that got banned in Australia that I was actually kind of like, oh, that's a bit of a bummer. Like Hotline Miami 2.
Yeah.
Which they never even bothered.
Didn't they just say pirate it? That's what yeah.
Devolver was just like, pirate it. If you want to play it, pirate it. Do what you need to do.
Yeah.
But not many games get banned in Australia these days, especially like after we got the R18 plus rating. And it's still annoying to this day when stuff like this happens because I'm still like, wasn't the point of the rating so
we could get the stuff. So there was
the stuff and you could put the restriction on it for stuff that you thought would affect like kids or whatever. Like, because the argument's so silly to me still. They're like, well, we don't want anything that says drug use is good and makes you want to take drugs. No adult is going to sit there and play this and go, oh, I've never done cocaine before, but now that I've injected this made-up fictional drug in this game, I might go out and take some cocaine. Gonna find
I'm sure it does the exact same thing.
I'm sure it's exactly the same. It makes me more powerful in real life. Like, that's not a thing that fucking adults are doing. And if you're worried, would be that, like, what?
Some adults.
All right. Well, adults with actual brains, not idiots. And if your worry is, well, the kids could get it and then they could think drugs
they shouldn't get it.
Oh, exactly. Well, then that's what the fucking rating was for. So it's always kind of annoying when shit like this still gets banned because I'm like, what was the fucking point? Like, we get the more violent games now. They have no problem. They're like, God of War, whatever. Stick an R rating on it. Violence is fine.
Yeah.
The rating will protect that from kids. But like drugs and sex stuff, if that's too much of that, gotta keep it from the kids even further. Just keep it out of the country altogether. Keep that shit out of here.
Can't even tempt the kids. Kids can't even look at the box.
The kids. Gotta protect the kids, Ash.
Protect them kids.
Please. All right. So the big game of the week for this week was Detroit Become Human, which, as I stated at the start of the episode, I've put I think I've put somewhere between 3 to 4 hours in. How much?
I think I'm around the same point. I think I went back and had a look at like 12 chapters or something in.
Yeah, I have no idea how. I think I'm like 5 or 6 chapters, so I might be halfway. I don't know.
Yeah, I've done a couple of bits with each character, so
yeah, I can't really say where I am without spoilers.
Yeah,
so it's kind of hard. But it's all over Twitch for a start, which is it's currently, I see most of the Twitch people I follow playing it, so I just count that as a success because it's like you can judge a game's success in several factors: game sales. Yep. Critical reviews, and is it doing well on Twitch?
Yep.
Like that's the that's the way to go at it. Critically, it's been getting mostly, from what I'm seeing, good reviews. You know, I've seen 8s, 9s, all over places.
Yep.
A few 7s here and there. Like the low seems to be the 7. And the lowest of the lows seem to just be going, well, it's just like, it's more David Cage game. It's more Quantic Dream. Here are the problems with it, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So I can't like give a definitive opinion on it. And I would like to have played more, but I can maybe wrap up in another episode my final thoughts. But at the moment, I'll say this. And then we'll go, and then give me your thoughts. I'm enjoying Kara and Marcus's story a lot better than Connor's. So Kara is the girl you see in the trailer who like starts in an abusive home. Marcus is someone who works for a paint dealer who's played by the guy who plays Bishop in Alien, which I find quite funny. And then Connor is the cop one, who they showed off in the E3 demo, like the interrogation part with the dude on the rooftop.
The hostage situation.
The hostage situation, which was also the demo, which, spoilers, that is literally how the game starts with that exact part. And I find Connor, his whole part, which is the cop stuff, that's very reminiscent of Heavy Rain, which I didn't finish. Like, it's like more investigative stuff. You're walking around these houses at points and you're just like looking for clues and whatever. And I don't find it terribly interesting. It's more tedious. Like, it just takes time to click on stuff. But you're not really like solving puzzles or anything. It's just walk around, find stuff.
Recreate the scenario.
Blah, 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 blah. And then recreate the scenario. But here's the thing. I'll say Batman Origins, but it's not as cool as Batman Origins.
Because you're not Batman?
Well, in Batman Origins, like it would create the hologram of the vent and you could see what was happening, and it was just a lot more visually interesting, I felt. You know? Like you could look at it a lot more. And then you'd have to try and walk around the environment to find where the bullet landed in the hole, and like it was just, there was a slight more thinking to it and using your environment to look around. These things, it's just like move the cursor around, find, scan, whatever, recreate. It's I don't find it all that interesting. His story so far, whatever. The other two I'm really enjoying though.
Yeah.
They're the way more interesting ones. Do you have any favorites?
Yeah, I think Marcus and Kara, obviously they're more emotional stories than Connor's is. Connor's just the basic, I don't know, cop one, yeah. But I find that
he's
interesting.
Also the most robotic.
That first sequence got pretty intense. It felt intense anyway.
The hostage
situation,
yeah. Do you want to spoil how? Well, it's not really a spoiler because it goes several ways. And it's part of the demo, so fuck it. Like, how'd you end that one?
I saved her, and the snipers took him out. Like it.
You saved her, and the snipers took the dude out.
Yeah.
Okay.
What happened to you?
I ran in, pushed him off the side of the building. He shot me in the back a lot of times. I saved the girl, but I died.
What? Then how does Connor's story continue?
Good question.
Man, I'm gonna have to reverse it. I think this is why Twitch is going to be such a big thing for this, because then people don't feel like they need to go back and replay it. They can just watch somebody else experience it. And maybe get a different reaction. And it's not as boring if if you've finished the game yourself, you can watch someone else play it, because it's just interesting, because they could be playing a lot different to you, so it makes it more interesting to watch on Twitch compared to a game where it's like God of War, everyone's playing it the same. You know? Like everyone, the person playing it could react different to scenarios, have different weapons, different combat, but story wise, it's still going to be the same for every player. Yep. One of my things I'm hating the most about it is the locomotion. It's straight up bad. Every character moves terribly. Yeah, it's not great.
They control and this is a Quantic Dream problem. All their games have control. I never finished Heavy Rain. I finished Beyond Two Souls though, and all of those games did not control well. There's just something like they just control like.
I would hate to have it need to be precise. Need to navigate between like obstacles or something.
I suppose, that would be terrible. But it's like at times it's fine because you're just pushing forward or whatever. But then there's times where you could be like, oh, I suddenly decided I want to walk over here to the left to look at something, and that's the moment where you feel it turn really weird and clunky, and the body's contort, and it's just, and the camera, you know, like the camera's weird, it's all over the place, and the fact you have to use the camera as the button to also like interact with stuff in the world, like like use the right analog stick and like push it up to the top and then swing it around to the right to like pick up a magazine or something.
Yeah.
The amount of times I've gone to do that and then just accidentally like touched the left analog stick a little bit and gone off course, and then I'm moving the camera like all over the fucking joint. A little bit annoying.
This is the only game recently that one has made me use the touchpad that I can think of, like touching it, not just pushing it, and also to use the motion controls in the controller.
Yeah, well, on that, the QuickTime events are shit.
Yeah,
like straight up, I don't have, and this is a game that revolves around QuickTime events. Like that is the gameplay. It is an interactive movie with QuickTime events, and I don't mind the ones with the right analog stick and like press R2, L2, whatever, all that sort of stuff. Press the right analog stick up here, blah blah blah. The moment it's about the motion control of the controller or that fucking touchpad. Yeah. I've had those things not work so many times.
Especially in like presser situations. It's fine if it's like think there's like a bit where somebody's painting and you just swipe on the touchpad. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Or you're reading articles, that's fine. But I was like in a fight or something, and that was the first time it had come up. It had prompted that move the controller thing at all in the game. I'm like, what the hell am I meant to do? And then I got punched in the face.
You throw it across the room. You just throw your controller across the room. That's what you got to do. Yeah. There was even one point where I think it was during like in the painting section with Marcus, where I'm like, you got to use the touchpad or whatever. It's like swipe across it to the right, left, whatever you're trying to do. And it was just not reading it. Like I'm swiping right. And I'm like, it's not working. Like it is straight up just not recognizing it. So I just like paused the game and I paused it and it worked straight away. And it must have just like re-triggered it. But still, like I shouldn't have to pause the fucking game and unpause it for the freaking thing to work. So I would say it doesn't control well, and gameplay wise, anytime it's one of those events, I'm getting annoyed. Like if I get further into the game and there's some big fight battle between any number of my characters and it's going to chuck 1,000,001 of those fucking motion control button prompt presses at me, my character's going to die. Like Kara's just going to die because I'm not going to pull it off. And I'll just blame it on the fucking controls. I'll be like, I'm sorry, Kara. Like I liked you as a character, but you're dead because of David Cage. Full stop. That's
only David Cage.
Only David Cage.
Everybody nobody else in that game is comparable.
It's a really good looking game.
Yeah,
I think. Although I would say that it's good looking in its character models and like performance capture and all that sort of stuff. But like overall, like the environments and all that sort of stuff, I don't think are too great.
No,
it's like it looks good, but it's serviceable. It looks good. But mostly what makes the game stand out is the character models, and like especially when you get to scenes where you get those real close-ups of the faces.
Even the bloody main menu model.
Even the main menu, which is freaky as all fuck.
Yeah.
Yes. Where there's that girl in the main menu is just talking to you, because the character models at times, especially when I feel like they're a lot closer and they have the close-ups like that, they do look super realistic.
Yeah.
Which is kind of scary, but it's good. Yeah. The game, when they don't look as realistic is when you're just like walking down a street or, you're in an environment, blah, blah, blah. And because I think this is in part due to the clunkiness of the controls, because it obviously takes you out of it, but also because I feel like the other people walking around at times they also just look like they're walking wonky or don't look right. I mean, 10 minutes into the game, I had at the start, the first section you play Marcus in, you have to get on a bus at some stage. As I'm waiting for the bus, I just see a NPC just walk in front of the bus, and then the bus hits them, and then they just keep trying walking, and then they're off in the background like, I'm just trying to walk while I'm attached to the end of this bus. I'm like, well, this game's off to a great start. This is it's off to a great start. But yeah, I think the character models are like up there with some of the best like performance capture type looking stuff.
Especially on the back of God of War,
On the back of God of War, it still stands up. Like, it's not as good as God of War.
Yeah.
Suppose they're kind of different, I'd say. I don't think there was any point in God of War where I've had these really close ups, like freaky, like the main menu. Like that is freaky. Yeah. That girl on the main menu looks really super realistic as well. But God of War looks really, like overall God of War looks way better than this because the environments look better and everything else, like effects, all that sort of stuff. But character models in this game look great. So on the varying like different ways the story could go, I'm personally at this stage kind of just, I want to play through my story. Yeah. You know, just play through it to see what happens. And I don't think I'm super interested in doing more playthroughs. I might go back for the platinum if it is really freaking easy. Like if it is as easy as then to jump into the chapter, make this decision. I assume so. Do,
I assume you'd have to replay the chapter and get each of the endings. Is
I suppose
100% every single chapter.
Chapter thing, yeah. So that might be easy. I might do that.
I think it's just time consuming.
Yeah, that's the thing. If it's too time consuming, I'm probably not going to bother. But I've seen so many people talk about wanting to do, you know, another playthrough, blah, 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 see all the different outcomes. I'm not a fan of replaying these types of games. Like I didn't replay Until Dawn because it's just, once I play through them once, the version of the story I get's just in my head as that's the game. Like that is the story to me. And I struggle to replay it and force myself to do the decisions my brain doesn't make because I've already made the decisions and it just doesn't feel as natural and fun. Would you want to replay more or go back for seconds?
Maybe. I mean, I failed a section of the game. I'm like, man, I really want to go back and do that properly. Freaking button prompts.
Really?
Yeah. No, that's just like I don't like failing thing more than anything else. I don't want to see how this outcome goes the other way or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I haven't gone back. We raved about Batman: The Enemy Within, and how there's spoilers. There's like 2 endings. I haven't gone back and had a look at what the other ending is yet. It's been a few months.
I looked at what the other ending was, but that was like that's a YouTube video look. I never had any interest to replay that chapter and force myself to make the decisions my brain doesn't want to because it's just not fun.
Yeah.
I was quite happy to watch someone else's playthrough of it on YouTube to see what the decisions were because it's not the same. And you get the fun of watching their response, you know,
as well,
to what's happening as well. So it's more interesting, I feel. But yeah, no, it's the same. I can't do it. Like I remember even like people with The Walking Dead back in the day, like the first 2 seasons of that, just being like, oh, I played through it, like made all the bad decisions, just see what happened, all this sort of stuff. Oh, I can't. It's just, it takes away from it.
Yeah, no.
Replaying like Mass Effect as well and stuff like that. Oh, I made all the good choices the first time, do it second time, blah, 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 blah. The only game I like played through twice and did the bad decisions was the Infamous games.
Yeah.
But that was just for the Platinum Trophy, and I was skipping every cutscene for the story because I didn't care. It was just like, bad choice, skip cutscene, bad choice, skip cutscene, blah, 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 blah. So it's not really the same. And I was just replaying it for the trophies and enjoying the gameplay along the way while skipping all the story shit.
Wasn't the gameplay a bit different with the bad powers?
Yeah, you get way different powers when you play it. And the other thing is, side note for the Infamous games, if you try to get the platinums, save the bad run for your second go, unless you legit just want it. Unless your brain legit makes bad decisions, that's the way that you
unless your brain makes bad decisions.
Like unless that's the way you actually want to play it, then play it that way so you can just experience the story you want to. But you do your good playthrough first, because the bad powers in all those games are more powerful. And when you have to do a run on the hard difficulty for a trophy, it ties in nicely when you're doing it on the evil playthrough because you get the more powerful abilities, which makes playing on hard easier. Because like some of them give you the ability to like suck life out of enemies and shit. So
yeah, that'd be helpful.
It is a little bit helpful. And the last thing, so Detroit apparently is like 10 to 12 hours, depending on, you know, how much you fuck around.
Yeah.
Currently, I'm at whatever I reckon, 3 to 4 hours, and I'm kind of wishing the game was shorter. Like, I don't feel like I'm fully burnt out yet, but I am staring at that runtime going, like, I feel like I could get burnt out before the end of this. Like, I just don't see it like the way the story's headed currently, I'm like, can it sustain another like 6 hours? I just don't see it possible.
Yeah,
but
I'm not sure yet.
How do you feel?
I maybe I am a bit further behind you than I thought, but it feels like it's only just starting to get going for me.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just rushing through it.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I feel like I have, because it gives you at the end of every level, it gives you that percentage thing. You know, like how much stuff you've done off.
Yeah.
Like you've seen or whatever. Nearly every chapter I've finished, I've got like 80, 90 or 100%.
Okay.
Like I am clicking around on everything, seeing what's up. I'm not actually reading the magazines when I pick them up though. I'm just like,
oh, okay.
Whatever.
Go back later.
Don't need to do that shit. Overall though, how are you? Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm keen to get back to it as soon as this podcast's over.
Do you reckon it's so far like living up to hype? Because a lot of people on Twitter and social circles we flutter in and all the reviews.
Obviously, other
like
than
raving.
the game, like the button prompt stuff. Yeah, the story wise, it's got me interested, got me hooked.
Story wise, it's interesting, but it's not doing anything specifically amazing that I haven't seen before.
No, yeah.
It's, you know, I've watched Blade Runner. I've watched fucking iRobot even, if you want to go, like, if you want to go to that level of, low level of the type of story this is, which, you know, AI, cyborg uprising, all that sort of stuff. So it's not doing anything super crazy, but it is interesting. The performances are great, but yeah, this is the gameplay. When I'm doing these fucking motion controls, when it's trying to make me flap my controller up in the air, it just annoys me. And like, if I'm getting annoyed at the gameplay, it's going to take out of my enjoyment of the story, which is the annoying part about it.
Yeah,
because I could be. There was one scene where I'm really getting into it, and I get into a fight. It might be the same fight you was on about. I don't know, but I get into a fight with a character. And I'm like, oh fuck, this is like intense. This is really intense. Waving my controller in there. Fuck, I got punched. Like, it probably was the same one. I was like, oh, fucking so annoying. Such an intense scene.
Yeah.
They're fucking with me. All right. Moving on to the next.
Oh, the only other thing is, do you find that the flow charts at the end of thing sort of brings the game to a halt? Sort of stops
they're too often.
Momentum. Yeah.
I would much prefer them to do a Until Dawn style where it doesn't come up unless you just go into the pause menu and bring it up yourself.
Yeah.
Like it's just constantly updating the butterfly effect chain link thing or whatever they called it. And then you could just look at it whenever you wanted to. But yeah, I agree. Every time you finish a chapter, because it could end on like a really like high or like a intense or sad moment. And then you've got to wait like 10 seconds before you can even skip the fucking thing if you want to look at it, because it has to load it all up, and then you're like X. Okay, cool. Let's load in to the next thing, please. Thank you. Yes, I agree. I would rather bring it up when you want to. Biggest game announcement news of last week was, of course, Battlefield 5. It got its announcement trailer dropped, and it got given a release date of October 19th. Did you watch the trailer when it dropped? Or
no,
only
I didn't.
Today when I said?
I only watched it an hour and a bit ago.
All right. What did you think as someone who's, like, I presume, have you played a Battlefield
No,
game
I have
before?
not.
You've not played it? Yeah, I didn't think. I was about to say, as someone who hasn't
the
played
worst
any
possible person.
Well, just because you haven't played one doesn't mean make your opinion
invalid.
They want new fans too,
that's
you
true.
know, like. So, as a person who has never played a Battlefield game, what did you think of the trailer?
It looks like a lot of gunfighting and it looks like there's some sort of mashup more than anything else it looked like, I guess. It was
too intense?
I wouldn't say too intense, but it was intense. A lot of cinematic. Very cinematic.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a cinematic trailer.
Yeah.
I guess. So you're okay with it.
Yeah.
I watched it when it dropped, and I was kind of just like, all right, it's like more of a tone piece. It doesn't really show me what the gameplay is like. It doesn't really show me particularly anything. I'm just like, cool. So there's going to be there's going to be women in this one. That's cool. Like,
You're the only one who had that reaction.
I know. It's so funny because I remember legit thinking like, because they had someone running around the trailer, blah blah blah. This really cool woman who's like got this. I can't remember if it was like it's accent of some sort. It was like fucking
like
Irish
a British
or
Irish, yeah,
or something like that. And I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. And I remember just thinking, oh yeah, so you're gonna be able to play as women in multiplayer. Like it'll just be like a choice or something like that. That's cool to have. I'm glad that's a decision that DICE/EA are making. And I wasn't smart enough at the time to think, when I go to Twitter straight after watching this trailer, I'm going to see the the shit that this has caught me. But of course, it is a thing. Before we get to that, though, Nick is not a huge fan of this trailer. To the point I would like to read what he shared. So he knew he was going to talk about it, and he posted this in Slack where he said, sums up my thoughts on that atrocious trailer apart from the female criticism. And then he posted this link to a YouTube video with a comment. And this is how this is nerdy army military
Nick
comment shit, you know. Like I'm not going to read it all, but this is the kind of shit Nick's on about. Just a recap, I don't know this commenter's name, but this is from a YouTube video. British and American paratroopers, brackets, with one handicapped female, jump off a British tank, clear a house, then the British Ranger with the katana flees from British tanks, the sniper jumps onto a German katana, drives past, I don't know what that word is, British tank throwing a German flag and past the Tiger 1, then the machine crashes and you don't engage the pilot, pick up MG, twin puzzle breaks, never existed, watch British soldiers use a German PK forward, and then you run with a German soldier. It is rubbish. It is like the most broke down complaining about the unrealisticness of the trailer that you can get. Now, I'll give him one thing. This seems to be the major criticism with this trailer has been everyone's been either complaining that the trailer was super unrealistic. Yes, I will also agree it's pretty unrealistic when they dive out of a 2-story building and get up and run like they wouldn't have broke any bones. But that's fine. And the way it's all mashed together, yeah, there's planes, there's fucking tanks all over the place. Yeah, I swear it was supposed to be super realistic. So you can start with the thing, people complaining, there are no women in World War II. There was.
Yeah.
Good job. Moving on. And even if there wasn't, at all, full stop wasn't.
Who cares?
It's a video game. It's a video game. And just because it's a video game based in World War II doesn't mean it actually has to be
Has it been confirmed as World War II?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
World War II. But that's my point. Like, why? Because it's a war game, does it have to be realistic?
Yeah.
From the get-go. Like, Battlefield, like, DICE doesn't come out and say, we make realistic military shooters.
Yeah.
Like, that's not their tagline.
No.
So
that would be a really bad tagline.
It's like, these people are kind of holding him to a really high regard that they're not even trying to meet.
I think they just wanted something to complain about, and that's what somebody said, and somebody else has jumped on, and it snowballed.
It's odd. I can understand if you want a realistic military shooter, but there are some. You just go play a different game that's not Battlefield.
Escape from Tarkov.
Yeah, exactly. Escape from Tarkov. No, Nick doesn't play it anymore. It's unsold. We don't talk
so
about
now
that.
You can play it.
Was it like Enemy on Front Lines or like there's fucking a bunch of PC shooters?
Listen to our top 5 with Nick, the first-person shooter one. I'm sure there's some realistic ones in there.
There's probably some realistic ones in there. But you know what I mean? Like, my point is there are realistic, and there's studios out there trying to make realistic World War I, II, whatever based shooters and games and keep them super realistic, and they exist because they want to be realistic. And Battlefield and Call of Duty or whatever.
Nope.
All these other games, they're not trying to make realistic games, and people are setting the standard that they have to. I don't understand. Like, just because it's set during a world war doesn't mean it has to be realistic. And you can have the criticism that it's not realistic, and that can be like, well, that can be your thing of, it's not realistic, so I don't want to play it. Sure, you're allowed to have that opinion, but you can't shit on the studio for not making it realistic. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. Like, they could put fucking aliens in this game.
They could.
What are you gonna do?
I mean, they had zombies in Call of Duty. Believe it or not, zombies aren't real.
Thing. Yeah, exactly. It's fucking weird. All right, so to cover some quick details about Battlefield 5. So it is World War II. They've said they're going to have North Africa, Norway, Scandinavia be some of the locations. Conquest, Team Deathmatch, and Domination Role returning. Operations, which was in Battlefield 1, is now returning as Grand Operations, which will be a multiplayer mode that takes place over 4 fictional days where you can basically do something successfully or fail something on day 1, which could come into effect like day 3 or 4, affecting you or the enemy team. Operation. I've not played Battlefield 1. I brought it on sale. It was on sale for $20-something.
Yeah.
Like a month back, and I was like, I want to play. I just want to play it for the vignettes thing, you know, because everyone was raving about them and they're really great, and I was like, cool, $20-something. That sounds like a great price to grab that, and it came with the DLC, which has its like more vignettes or whatever in it. So I was like, that's a good price.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll get to play that sometime since I brought it. Hopefully before this comes out. But Operations is a multiplayer mode I'm not familiar with because I didn't play 1. I skipped Battlefield for that year. There was just too much. Too much, Ash.
Too much.
There was no time for it. They're pushing teamwork again in this one on squad play. So you're going to have limited resources in multiplayer mode. You'll have less ammo when you spawn, and they want you to rely on your support player to get ammo off. Or they're also introducing the fact that enemy players, when their bodies drop, you'll now be able to pick up ammo off their bodies, which has always been a thing that has annoyed me in these games where I'm like, why isn't that a thing? You know, like if that player was using the same weapon as you and they fucking die, why can't you pick up the ammo off their body? It doesn't make sense. But now you can. They're also going to build in fortifications, so you'll be able to build like sandbags and shit multiplayer. It's not like Fortnite building, but some sort of building system. The game spotting system, which has always been one of Battlefield's things, has been changed, so you could see like the wind rustle a bush off in the distance, and you could spot it and like put a marker on your map so your teammates can see it. But just because you spot it doesn't mean there's actually someone there. Like it could just be you freaking the fuck out because the wind was rustling in bushes.
Yeah.
So then your whole team's like shooting into a bush with no one there, and the enemy team's like, "Ha, fucking idiots, idiots." Combined Arms is a new co-op experience with a random mission generator. It's basically just Battlefield Light for you. It's like you get your friend, aka Ashley of the Explosion Network, who's never played Battlefield, and you say, come play Combined Ops. It's a co-op mode, and you basically get to slowly introduce them to the mechanics of a Battlefield game in a more enclosed experience where you can help them out before going into the conquest maps of yesteryear.
Of death.
And then the other big things were War Stories, which is the vignettes, is returning for this one. So they're keeping that to be the way they're doing the stories, which is
single player campaign.
Yeah, and there's a single player campaign in Battlefield compared to Call of Duty, of course. That is the thing. Although I saw some people online, I legit saw a couple people. They must have been like big Call of Duty, like fans or whatever, and this is when you're fighting a fight you can't win, being like, well, dude, it's not actually a single player campaign because it's like separate smaller stories, which isn't a proper campaign. You're fighting the fight you're gonna lose there. That's that's not where you want to be. And then finally, the big piece of news, if you ever played a Battlefield game and you've ever brought into the premium passes, which I did for several years there with like Bad Company through to Battlefield 4, which was their premium pass was usually like $60, and it was the season pass, and you got content and you got into like double XP weekends and all this sort of stuff. They're just ditching this now, and they got this new Tides of War thing, which is basically the same idea as what they did with Battlefront, I guess, like Battlefront 2, which is that all the DLC is going to be free, updates are going to be free, that sort of thing. This, of course, leaves them open to being like, well, this is a expansion and they can charge for it if they want to, but it would have to be big enough to be considered an expansion and not like just a couple maps. So you can get around that. But they said they want to do this because they're sick of seeing squads of players separated over paid content. You know, like 4 or 5 friends or 6 friends all love playing the game together, and then 4 out of 6 of them buy, or 2 out of 4 of them buy the DLC, and then the other two can't play with them anymore because they're playing on the new maps. They don't want that to happen, so now everyone's just going to get onto the new stuff for free. Overall, the trailer aside, because I thought the trailer was just mediocre, but I don't really, as I said, I don't really care. The trailer,
it was
the trailer
what it was.
is like it was what it was. The trailer is like a tone piece.
Yeah.
To me, that's all it is. It's just saying, hey, this is what the game. Here's a bunch of elements and stuff all mashed together into like a cool moving picture that's supposed to introduce you to the fact that the game's in World War II. We got these weapons, guns. It's going to be crazy. Blah 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 blah. It's just trying to show off the game. It's not actually showing you the game.
No,
it's nothing. So, just people are reading too much. Yes, people are reading too much into that type of trailer. I feel. You can go crazy when gameplay drops, and in that gameplay, if you don't like stuff, go for gold, I guess. I will probably I feel like I'll probably pick this up this year. It just depends on what else is dropping in October.
Did they announce the release date, or is that going to be at E3?
Yeah, October 19th.
That's like a week or two before Red Dead?
I'm not getting Red Dead.
It's like a week or two after Shadow of the Tomb Raider. No, Rise of the Tomb. No, yeah, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I probably won't be getting Rise at this stage. I probably won't be getting Shadow at this stage unless I get time to go back and finish Rise. What else is coming out this year? That's like the same month as Spider-Man. So, Spider-Man September, isn't it?
Yep.
It's so confusing.
Yeah, I know. There's so much, but I have free space because the Tomb Raider thing. I'm obviously not picking up 3 unless I go back and finish 2. Yeah. That is ridiculous and that's stupid. Currently, am I going to have time to go back and finish 2? I don't know.
Probably. What else is coming out in the next month or so?
I don't know, but I keep there'll be something. You
just picked up Battlefield. That's fine.
There'll be something. Yeah. I have to go finish Battlefield 1.
Yeah.
Like mentioned, but it's Tomb Raider. All these. There's always something on the thing. But I'm definitely not picking up Tomb Raider 3 if I've not finished 2. That is ridiculous. That's silly. Red Dead Redemption 2, I tried playing the first one on stream last year. It was okay. It's not great. I'm not going back to finish it. I'm not at all excited for Red Dead Redemption 2. I know it's blasphemous to say, because apparently everyone in the gaming industry, you're supposed to just love Red Dead. Like it's just a given.
I think you're just too late to the party, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm very late to the party, and I don't really care. Everyone's going to... Because it comes out the same weekend as PAX.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, well, what are we going to do? And I'm like, fucking I don't care. You can not go to PAX and leave me an empty hole so I can walk around easier.
Yeah.
That sounds great to me.
You can see all the games easier.
Yeah, I can just play all the games easier. That's perfectly fine with me, but no. So I might pick this up this year because I do like Battlefield. Would you ever give Battlefield a swing ever?
If we needed to for the content.
You mean like if we all wanted to stream it on Twitch? Yeah. We might. Well, actually, no, here's the problem. If I was like, hey, Nick, I'm getting Battlefield this year. Do you want to get it? He'll be like,
no, it's against my principles. Oh. I only play historically accurate games unless it's women.
I only play historical accurate ones that I have to manually reload clips and there has to be a mouse and keyboard.
Although I'm okay with women.
I'm okay with the women part though. That part's fine. I'm not a fan. But like, you're not a huge first-person shooter guy, are you?
No.
That's like the
very rare. I can't even remember what the last one was that I played.
What is it about them again?
I know. I'm just no good at them. Why
don't you just like play them on easy or something?
I don't know. I'm just not interested, I guess.
Fair enough. I'll allow it.
Good.
But yeah, I'm going to be intrigued. I do love a good Battlefield versus Call of Duty year.
Yeah.
Like that's always fun to see go down. To see who comes out on top. It's just a fun battle of the giants. It's always fun at E3 when there's one coming out because there was that time because usually Call of Duty's out every year and Battlefield's usually out every second year. Yeah. So there's like a year off where you don't have the battle, and then every other year you get to see them battle it out at E3 usually.
Yeah.
Which we'll get this year again, which is always fun. Yep. It's exciting.
Going to predict another 60-person battle after the E3 press conference for EA.
I remember watching that last year. Or was it? No, it was the year before, wasn't it?
No, last year was Battlefront, remember?
Oh, yeah. It was just like... like they had Snoop Dogg and like all these random rappers and like
a bunch of celebrities,
whoever else, celebrities. It was just really odd.
A bunch of YouTubers. Oh yeah,
yeah. But it was something.
Yeah,
they'll probably happen again. I think they're doing that stupid EA experience thing. All right, last segment of the show. Hashtag every trophy counts. Old Man's Journey is coming to PS4. The list looks fairly easy. You'll probably need a guide though. And some of the trophies look missable. I played this on Switch and I reviewed it early in the year. It is a fun game, so I'd suggest picking it up. Nonetheless, it'll only take you about an hour to finish. It is relatively short. You'd think that'd make the trophy list fairly easy, but when I was looking at it last night, some of them from memory, they just straight up read, well, if you don't do this, you're just going to miss it. Because it's like there's no chapter select or anything. It's like you just play through. It's a side-scrolling walking simulator puzzle game. I don't know what you want to call it. Adventure game. So it's like if you miss certain things, you're just going to miss them. But with a guide, potentially looking at an easy platinum there. And another interesting thing for this week, Slime San, which was out on Switch early in the start of last year, end of last year, something like that. 64 bronze trophies. I don't think I've seen a game with such an obnoxious amount of fucking bronze trophies in my life.
That's a lot.
It is one platinum, one gold, 64 bronze trophies. It's fucking outrageous. I don't know.
Is that the most trophies a game's possible?
No, like I remember like Sound Shapes like maxed out. By the time they kept adding DLC to that game, DLC. They maxed out the amount of trophies you could put on the game. I'm pretty sure Warframe has done the same as well because they just kept adding like trophies for like the free updates and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure that game's got like maxed out trophies as well. But that's like after DLC and stuff. This is like your straight up first trophy list and you've got 64 fucking bronzes. No offense, but fuck you. That's ridiculous. That's just offensive.
Just chuck in a couple of silvers.
Something. It's ridiculous. 64 fucking bronzes. Get out of here. And as mentioned before, Detroit, the trophy list, from what I can gather, I think I saw someone like PowerPix or Brian from PS4 Trophies give it like a 2 out of 10 or something for difficulty, but just said, obviously you'll need a guide. Could take like several playthroughs, obviously, different chapter selects. Yeah. Just tedious, time consuming. I'm not exactly sure how much time it takes because I didn't want to click on anything in case I saw spoilers pop up in my face. Yeah. But I just remember saying like 2 out of 10, not hard, just takes time. So I think that's pretty much the description of all the Quantum Dream trophy lists as well, from memory, as far as I'm aware. All right, thank you for joining us for another episode of Platinum Explosion. It's been great to have you. I hope you've enjoyed having me back as your host.
Yeah, it's been good.
It's all right. Ciaran will not be returning because he is, as mentioned, dead. What a dickhead.
It's going to be awkward with early late nights this week. We're going to weekend and Bernie's it. You can find me on Twitter at Ashley Hobley, ASHLEYHOBLEY. It's a thing.
It certainly is. You can follow me on Twitter at Vivaladil, VIVALADIL. You can follow this show on Twitter at Plat Podcast. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes if you can. 5 stars is all I'll fucking accept. Thank you. None of that nonsense. And then you can also use word of mouth as another way to get people to listen to things. That's great. On Twitter, just tweet about us. Don't even tweet at us. Just tweet about us.
Take people's phones and subscribe to our RSS feed.
Yeah, Ciaran does that. Yeah. That's fine. He does that to random girls at parties after he roofied them.
That's what his Tinder profile's really for.
This is, of course, a product of the Explosion Network. You can follow the Explosion Network on Twitter at ExplosionPod. You can head on over to explosionnetwork.com to find all the other great content, podcast articles, reviews, and many sorts of things that you can click on, and they take you to other websites and links, and then they're great. We've got a new thing out called Bevan Beats. If you want some music to listen to while you game.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Wait,
it's true.
You don't like that, Ash?
It's a fact.
It
just depends on the game. Probably don't want to be listening to music while you're playing Detroit.
Your list, number 2 goes up tomorrow with your list. Is it one you could listen to while gaming?
Yeah, I think so. It's possible.
Like, is it upbeat enough to smash face in Call of Duty?
Oh, probably not for Call of Duty. It might set the tone for someone like me playing Call of Duty. Just depressing.
Yeah. Just oh, bother.
Yeah.
Hello, it's Ciaran here from the Explosion Network, and this be your ad read from May 2018. If you're a fan of top 10 lists, then boy oh boy do we have a show for you that does just as well as BuzzFeed, WatchMojo, IGN, or anywhere bloody else, to be perfectly honest, but in about half the time. Top 5 with Nick is currently airing in its first season, and the season's theme is video games. We love video games here at the Explosion Network. Join Nick and 2 guests every fortnight as they break down topics like launch games, gaming peripherals, and first-person shooters. Explosion Network's bulletin board. Older on Explosion is back this month. Join Dylan and guests for 3 episodes from May 11th in lead up to Solo. Oh, it's coming! It's so close! If you're watching Westworld Season 2 at the moment, make sure you follow us over at twitch.tv/Explosion Network for Bevanworld. Our weekly recap and discussion about Westworld. Find it all on our Twitch channel, and once again, twitch.tv/Explosion Network, or over at our YouTube, youtube.com/Explosion Network. Have a fantastic day.
I don't know what else to say. Yeah.
That's it.